Coming up next, meet Portland's own Academy Award-winning filmmaker.
PM Magazine.
This is a big month for all of those folks down in Hollywood. The Oscar Awards come up the 25th of March. That always causes a big stir down south and has a special meaning to a Portland man.
His name is Will Vinton, and he already has an Oscar in his possession. And the interesting thing is he got this Oscar by playing with clay.
Oh, and then, of course, you know, back home, there was the Andrews sisters singing Bugle Boy of Company C. Everybody real happy about that, you know.
Did you ever play with clay when you were a kid? Well, so did Will Vinton. The only difference is he never stopped. He's now the world's foremost producer and director of clay animation, a process he calls Claymation.
In my opinion, the Claymation is capable of doing absolutely anything that the mind wants it to do.
It is, at least when it's in the hands of Will and his associates. For example, who else could turn the earnest faces on Mount Rushmore into a backup group for singer Bette Midler? Needless to say, Will's work hasn't gone unnoticed. His first film, Closed Mondays, won an Academy Award. Since then, he's had 3 more Oscar nominations and won enough other awards to fill a small warehouse. Will is currently putting the finishing touches on his first full-length feature, based on the life and stories of Mark Twain.
No, friends, I go to meet the comet.
We're just at the point right now of finishing The Adventures of Mark Twain. We're down to the last few shots. Looks to me like these, you're gonna have to rise them up on the armature,
so that their weight is resting more on the armature,
and then
not on the...
and then basically build down. You know, it's like that's a better balance right there.
The making of Mark Twain has been a 3-year project for Will and his staff. What will soon be an hour-and-a-half motion picture began as an idea, a script, and a storyboard.
Storyboard is a visual representation of the entire film, one shot at a time. Each one of these frames represents a different cut of the picture itself.
Where are you from in a more general way?
Beg your pardon. Put me down for California.
Getting from storyboard to film, however, requires many steps, and it all begins with the clay. Will uses it by the ton. By melting various clays together, new colors are formed, which will eventually become the characters, costumes, and sets.
So there's quite a lot of time spent on just the design, the building of sets and characters. A good third of the production time is spent there.
During the course of the production, hundreds of figures are sculpted and resculpted.
Well, once in a while, when they don't work quite properly, they deserve a little splat in the face, and then you go pull out, make a new character and start over. I didn't anticipate that we'd start that far. Maybe that's stretching it a little bit. Maybe what we should do is have a...
At the same time the figures are being constructed, sets are being built. These sets are just as carefully designed as the characters themselves. Every detail is meticulously planned. Once the set and characters are built, the animation begins.
When does Tom look up? Tom looks up about 58, frame 58.
And that's the bulk that takes half of a production, at least, to execute. In this 3-year project on The Adventures of Mark Twain, the animation takes up a year and a half.
During this process, the animator shoots 1 frame of film at a time, making dozens of small changes every 2 frames. There are 24 frames in every second of film, which means the characters must be moved 12 times a second.
A 7-second scene that's difficult with a lot of lip sync and a lot of action might take 3 or 4 days. These characters are no different than actors. They sometimes, and the animator especially, is very much like an actor, performing a character really in front of the camera.
Naked people have little or no influence in society.
Before the film is edited, though, it has to be checked to make sure the actions are smooth and the characters are believable. If they're not, the scene must be reshot.
Basically, though, each time we shoot a new shot, we have to start with a fresh character, and it's a whole new setup, and it sometimes amounts to days of work. So we don't take it lightly, needless to say.
Once everything finally checks out, the film is edited, special effects are added, and the result is spellbinding.
Frog overboard!
Okay, take the wheel.
Ready to
Frog
go.
overboard!
Hang on there, little fella. Ready to go. Who's the leadsman?
I am, sir.
Devil reef ahead.
In a way, I think pioneering this art form, into just simply a much more sophisticated area, taking it beyond this sort of crude, lumpy clay form.
Lumpy clay forms these are not. Will has given them the breath of life, and he's given us a bit of magic.
Will plans to release his newest film, The Adventures of Mark Twain, later on in the year, so that's something to look forward to. You can also look forward to more details on winning this Jetta when we come back.